stop going on the interweb. I just was reading something on my Facebook page, right? And I've seen it elsewhere. I've seen a lot of this, to be honest, where people are trying to ease their anxiety. They're trying to seek comfort. They're trying to feel better about themselves because they're having these intrusive thoughts that are coming in. And what they're doing is they're going on sites like TikTok, going on sites like Reddit, going on sites like, you know, whatever it is they go, basically, all right? And one or two things will happen. You'll either get the reassurance you're looking for, and reassurance does not make intrusive thoughts go away, but just keeps them going. It just makes you feel better for a small time. Or instead of getting the reassurance they need, they will run face first into the proverbial fist. And they'll get so spiked that they can't handle it. So what started out as a positive intention, wanting to feel better, has now led them down a path of feeling much, much worse. Stop doing it. Guys, you know I care about you, okay? But for your own good, stop it. Because it's better to tolerate, you know, the pain now by not suppressing the thoughts, by not doing any compulsions, or trying not to anyway. It's better to have the pain and let your brain habituate to the thoughts, which will eventually lead them to being marked as irrelevant. Or what you do, you try to make yourself feel better instead. And by doing that, you're making yourself feel worse. And on and on and on this cycle goes, day after day, week after week, month after month. And years pass down the line, and you look in the mirror and you're an old woman or an old man, and you're still seeking reassurance, because some people, as good people as they are, you cannot reason with them. You can't get through to them. The more you keep seeking reassurance, the more your OCD will keep going. You know, it's a compulsion. You feel the anxiety, you want to feel better, you do this compulsive urge to look for answers, and you end up feeling worse. Now, it's very difficult for me to say anything these days because I have taken a little bit of flack for giving people reassurance. And when I first started doing videos, I wasn't aware of the reassurance thing as I am now. But I didn't try to reassure people anyway, not consciously. I was just trying to point out distinctions. So what I'm about to say may be regarded as reassurance, but I'm only paraphrasing, and I think it may have been Dr. Phillipson that actually said this. I think it was him, and I think you can see it on YouTube. I can't remember the name of the video, but anyway, what he said was this. HOCD people are constantly looking for answers. Constantly looking for answers. They're on this journey, looking for answers, looking for conclusions. Gay people already have the answer. They already have the answer. They know what they are, but they just, their obstacle is actually coming out. Now, before anybody starts criticizing me, I'm not telling anyone whether you're gay, whether you're straight, whether you're bisexual. I don't know, and it's none of my business. But I'm only reiterating what's already been said. So this is the theme. And if you look at all forms of OCD, they're all the same. I mean, and I think HOCD people, and this is an assumption on my part, they tend to look at HOCD things when really it's under their very nose the whole time. If you just look up OCD, you'll see that at the core of every form of OCD is uncertainty and needing to find an answer. So I'll make this video quick. I won't, keep harping on. But as long as you're doing the compulsive checking, as long as you are trying to run away from trouble, you're running into trouble. It's kind of like if there was one guy in front of you and he was really winding you up and saying things, and you just thought, right, that's it, you're having it. And you start chasing the guy, and you chase him, and he runs into an alleyway, and there's 10 guys there waiting for you. Now what are you going to do? Right? Same thing. When you're scouring the internet frantically, and doing all this business, you're making it so much harder and keeping the whole thing, keeping the ball rolling over and over and over and over. Stop it for your own good. Learn to tolerate the uncertainty. Learn to tolerate, it's funny when I give up my compulsions a long time ago, before bed, and I talk about this story in I think it's The Horror of Intrusive Thoughts, and it's in Facing the Unknown, my last video. I give up my compulsions one night before going to bed. I had to do all these compulsions before going to bed, and I stopped, and I did actually what the book Brain Lock talks about, and I've only just read it, but I didn't really realize it at the time. But I refocused. I stopped doing the compulsions. I felt tremendous anxiety. Instead of pushing the anxiety down, which you should never do, I kept the anxiety with me. I jumped into bed, cried myself to sleep, and basically I refocused my attention on sleeping. So what I'm saying to you is this. If and when you ever do get triggered, be it in life, be it an intrusive thought that just comes randomly while you're making a cup of coffee or something, or if you're actually stupid enough to go on these sites and search for things, and you do feel this massive spike, this massive anxiety, it's very important not to push it down, to feel the feeling, feel the pain, feel the discomfort, feel the uncertainty, and keep that feeling there and refocus on something else. And give yourself time, have a time delay before you eventually cave into the compulsion, if that's what you're eventually going to do. Like thought suppression, or argue with a thought, or whatever it is that you do. The only problem you got when you go on Reddit, when you go on TikTok and all that, is sometimes the spikes are so great that it's too high up the hierarchy for you. And you temporarily fuck yourself up. So don't do it. I got golden exposures on my channel. And I know you're not supposed to give them, but I'm doing it for the little guy. So you can do those and start small. But, you start small and you work upwards instead of having that massive spike that comes out of nowhere. But I say now, and I always will say, and I'll probably say it in every video, that you need to see a mental health professional. Never mind Quora, never mind Reddit, never mind TikTok, never mind all these stupid sites. And half of them don't know what the fuck they're talking about anyway. Never mind that. Never, just go and get the help that you need. So, before I go, I'd just like to... I've written a few things down just to say on camera before I eventually go off. And I got HOCD mindfulness. So, no, this is something that you should practice. Mindfulness, meditation. And it's really weird because meditation... Can I tell you a quick story? So much for a short video. I work for a guy by the name of Damien. Lovely guy, right? An outstanding boss. Never raised his voice. Great. He was a Buddhist. And he used to talk about these Zen retreats. He used to go on these retreats all over the place. And I always remember him saying to me, because with meditation, you allow the thoughts to come into your mind and you don't argue with them. You just allow them to be. You allow them to come and go. And thoughts about people's pasts, about their hurts, about their dog dying 20 years ago, about, these things come up. He literally said to me that he'd seen people after like a week meditating, he'd see them doubled over, crying, hysterical, because all that stuff is coming out of them. Thoughts coming up, and by not arguing with them, just allowing them to be, the trauma's coming out. Now, the same principle can work with OCD. When the intrusive thoughts come in, allow the thoughts to be. Feel the discomfort. Very important not to push it down. So anyway, that's mindfulness. That's something you should get into, okay? As for reassurance, any type of avoidance that you're doing, any type of reassurance that you're doing, any type of compulsive action that you're doing, like on the internet, like those sites I talked about, none of those things are going to get rid of intrusive thoughts. Like a bolus gathering moss, all they're going to do is keep the thoughts going. To cut the thoughts dead, you need to face your fear head on. That's the way to do it. Just remember one thing before I go. If and when you do expose yourself to intrusive thoughts, feelings or images, in my opinion anyway, the main goal is not to get rid of the thoughts. It's by trying to get rid of them is why they stay in. The main goal is to see the thought as irrelevant. And when your mind habituates to the distress, to the thought, and sees the thought as being irrelevant, the added bonus is the fear will go away. And eventually the thoughts will become less and less. It's by giving the thoughts importance. It's by giving the false arousal relevance is what's keeping it going. And while I'm on the subject, somebody said to me the other day, I'm having groinal responses, I'm having the false arousal or whatever you call it. What should I do? And I said to do the same thing that you would do with an intrusive thought. To allow it to be. Allow it to play itself out like a tape recorder. And most people, see, they can't put up with feeling uncomfortable for a little while. Because people are very certain in some areas of their life, but they're uncertain in certain little pockets of their life. And with HOCD, it happens to be about homosexuality or heterosexuality. Anyway, guys, take care. I'm going to go, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.